Hello and welcome back to Jacob's Toys. Please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. This is the Hasbro Real Ghostbusters Kenner Ecto Glow Collector Set. Now this has been, I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. Since they announced they were redoing the 1991 Ecto Glow figures, I've been very excited for this release indeed, and I must admit they have knocked it out of the park with this. They are pretty much exact copies of what we had back in the 90s, from the packaging down to the figures, down to the accessories. It's just a very cool figure to have. Now, the reason I'm so excited about these is that originally these came out in 1991, but they were exclusively sold in America. So I never actually had any of the Ecto Glow figures as a kid. They were something that I'd seen and I'd heard about, and they're some of the last figures produced by Kenner, if I remember rightly, as part of the Real Ghostbusters line. So knowing that Hasbro were going to redo these, I was very excited indeed. The one thing I was conscious about was how well they were going to glow. So let's have a look. There it is in the dark. I've got a black light torch, so I'm going to use the black light torch, which in itself just makes them look very cool. But of course it will just speed up the glow process, and I can already tell the glow that's coming off of these. Look at that. That is fantastic. That really is cool. Now, of course, Hasbro would have had the capacity to make the heads glow as opposed to have a clip-on glow piece like the original figures, but being true to the 1991 versions, they've pretty much just done them exactly the same. So what you've got is you've got the character, each of the four characters in their own suits with a ghost, with a proton pack, and then you've got a clip-on face plate that goes over the top that then makes their face glow. Now, as I said, the packaging is an exact replica of what we had in 1991, which is very cool indeed. However, I am an out-of-box collector, so I do want to get these out and have a little bit of a play with them. While we're on the subject of 1991, there was one other figure in the Ecto Glow range, which was, of course, Louis Tully, and unfortunately, Hasbro haven't done them. Maybe we're going to get him as an exclusive, or they might revisit this line with him as a special one-off. I don't know, but it'd be very cool if we could get all five and get that Louis Tully as well, only because, as I said, I didn't have these, so to actually have them now is quite cool. Interesting little bit of trivia as well. On the original packaging, you had the Ectocopter, which was the glow-in-the-dark, the Ecto Glow Ectocopter, and that was never released. That never came out. So who knows? Maybe Hasbro will revisit this line and give us what we never had. So here they are out of the box. So let me just show you, these are the face plates. Now, the only unfortunate thing about these face plates is that they do make the heads a little bit bigger, which is unavoidable really, but you know, because these are an exact replica of those 1991 figures, so they've not kind of changed the design at all. They do make the heads a little bit bigger, but I'm going to display mine with the glow-in-the-dark head stuck on, just so that when the lights in my office go out, these guys are glowing. And they're not the only glow-in-the-dark figures that I have on my shelf, so I must admit, when I turn the lights out, it's quite cool to see all the glows. But anyway, while we're putting these together, let's just have a look how the proton pack goes on. Now, the only unfortunate thing is the proton beam doesn't come off. So even though the proton packs have the clips so that you can store them, the actual beams don't come off. So if you're going to display these with the proton packs on, then you're going to have to deal with, of course, those beams, which do take up quite a bit of space. But hey ho, that's a small price to pay to have these figures finally in our collection. Now, these, of course, are the same as the original figures that we had back in the day. So the sculpting's all the same, the paint work's all the same. And I must admit, I've got the re-release of the original 4, and it's quite tough to tell the difference, to be perfectly honest. So the kid in me that never got hold of these is quite happy. Now, Egon, I think, is the most unfortunate because he's got quite a slim face, and when you pop that on, it does make his head quite big. But to be honest, unless you were going to display these with some of them with the masks on and some with the masks off, you're not really going to notice the difference. So, yeah. I was never really a fan of these suits, to be fair, as a kid. That was kind of the justification I gave to myself for not being able to get hold of these, because I didn't like the way that they had their names written across them. Like, I thought it was quite comical. But as an adult, I'm absolutely loving the fact that they've kept those original designs. Well, the actual sculpt is exactly the same as the standard figures, but it's just the paint apps that have gone on top of them. All clips together nicely. I suppose you could swap the proton packs out for the original ones, actually. That would work. Yeah. Little fun fact here as well. They come with, of course, different ghosts. So we've got the Gulper Ghost, we've got the Rapper Ghost, the Arachnid Ghost, and the Jail Jaw Ghost. The Arachnid Ghost. So originally, we first saw that Arachnid Ghost, the spider one, in with the Super Fright feature figures. It was with Egon, but it was in a kind of a greenish colour. The name was then shortened from Slimy Spider Ghost to Spider Ghost. So there we go. So there's all the different ghosts. But one thing I did love about the Kenner Ghostbuster figures is all these kind of little monstery ghosts. I remember as a kid just having tons of them. But to have this Arachnid Ghost is very cool. Very cool indeed. So anyway, there we go. There's the figures out of the box. Let's get the blacklight out and let's have a look at how these look under the blacklight. So straight away with the blacklight on them, even with the lights on, you can see they glow up quite nicely. That's very cool indeed. I'm very excited to see what these look like all together. I'm really hoping they look as good as the promo images. Fingers crossed. Here we go. Let's turn the light. There we go. That's very cool looking. Very, very cool looking indeed. Let's just charge them up a little bit more. The glow in the dark stuff is such a thing of the kind of late 80s, early 90s. You know, everything had something that glowed in the dark. And I'm really pleased that it's still kind of around and present in today's toys. But yeah, let's just charge them up a little bit more. Look at that. Look, you can see the glow like reflecting off the wall and off the floor of my desk. That's some really good glow in the dark feature. So there we go. So these are available via Hasbro Pulse. I don't know if they're still available or not, but they are available via Hasbro Pulse. They did announce at the Ghostbuster HQ, actually, when they announced a whole bunch of stuff. I think it was on Ghostbusters Day, that they've done the Ecto 1. That's sold out now. And there is plans of some other things coming as well. So rumour has it that it's going to be Stay Puft and Slimer. As I said, for me, I'd really love to see that Lewis Tully figure as well. That would be fantastic. If they do him, I'll 100% be picking him up just to put him alongside these other 4 Ghostbusters. But yeah, me, as a collector, as a fan of Ghostbusters, as a fan of Glow in the Dark, and as a kid that didn't get his hands on the original release, I am very happy with these Ecto Glow Ghostbusters, real Ghostbuster figures. Hasbro have done a fantastic job. Of course, do check out my channel for various other toy reviews and unboxings and whatnots. Thank you very much for watching. It is very much appreciated. Do drop a comment in the video. Let me know if you had these as a kid. Have you picked these up now as an adult? Is Glow in the Dark something that you'd like to see in more lines, or is it something that you think should just stay in things like Ghostbusters? Personally, I think Glow in the Dark works perfect with Ghostbusters, and I think this just looks wicked. This really does. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Yeah, I'm just excited by this. I really am excited by this. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.